Poland lies in Central Europe and is on the Baltic Sea. In terms of its area, Poland is 9th in size, and in terms of population, it ranks 8th in Europe. Presently, around 39 million Poles live within the country's 320 square kilometers. Poland's history began in ancient times and is marked from the baptism of Mieszko I. The Lublin region covers about 8% of Poland's area and has for centuries linked the cultures of East and West. Except for the city of Lublin, which has 40% of the population, the region is lightly urbanized. Among other reasons, that is why Lublin, together with many other regions of Poland, is facing various problems. One of the largest in this part of the country is unemployment. It has hit the Lublin region particularly hard. Unemployment is described as an economic situation wherein a given part of the population, fit and looking for work, cannot find employment. In Poland, around 17% of all citizens are out of work. Losses born in periods of high unemployment are the greatest documented wastefulness in today's economy. This wastefulness is many times greater than the losses due to the ineffectiveness which results from monopolies. It is estimated that for each percentage point that the actual unemployment rate exceeds the natural unemployment rate, real GDP declines by 3%. 27.9% of registered unemployed, in general, are between 25 and 34 years old. 44% of unemployed live in rural areas. Polish unemployment is long-term, lasting more than 12 months. It is estimated that when the project was realized, the average cost of maintaining one workplace in an office in Warsaw cost about 10,000 zlotys per year. Now, assuming that we take a worker for part of the time, not the entire time of his work, and shift him to his home, for example. Why not full-time? That model has not proven itself anywhere. Teleworking, or work made more flexible in terms of location, is usually done on a schedule of 2 days at home, 3 days in the office, or 2 days at home, 2 in the office, and 1 travel day. What does this type of work look like? In large corporations such as IBM, where such solutions have been implemented, one desk is shared among 2 or 3 employees. They have a schedule for coming to the office, and so simply share the resources, the desk and the computer. At first, it may be hard to accept by many workers. Well, I have my own desk at work and my own mess on it, my computer, my keyboard. How can I share it? But we must accept this. It turns out that after introducing such solutions in some countries, IBM has actually been able to reduce its office space by nearly half. Causes of unemployment. Loss of jobs due to the restructuring of the economy. Technological changes or the collapse of entire industries. Industrial restructuring. Lack of qualifications. Lack of professional experience. Low mobility of the population. And high costs of commuting to and from work. One possible way of reducing unemployment is to introduce remote work. The father of teleworking is the American physicist Jack M. Niles, who came up with the idea of working at a distance during the oil crisis in the United States. He named this type of work telecommuting. At the beginning of the 1990s, AT&T introduced this system of work, which within 6 years included 55% of the employees in the American branch offices. That same year, American Express adopted a teleworking scheme for its handicapped staff. The Fugamundi Foundation also applied this system for its members.
Flexible working is something like some of you might know as teleworking, but this is something wider. It's everything which we might think of when changing the standard way of working from 8 till 4 o'clock in the office into something which is different, more flexible. Flexible in a sense of time of working, place of working, method of working, the tools used.
The Fugamundi Foundation was founded in 1995 by disabled people. This is important because the foundation arose in association with an attempt to deal with the many problems that disabled persons face. So we decided that the best thing to do would be to take matters into our own hands. From its inception, the foundation has tried to create the conditions for sharing equally in social, professional. This is significant insofar as in the public debate, disabled persons are identified as those who have privileges. Thus it seems that the various privileges given to disabled persons should be understood in the category of evening out the playing field. We at the Fugamundi Foundation are trying to introduce this main idea, which is central to policies concerning the disabled in the EU and the UN. 15 years ago, friends and I were at a lake and we decided to do some swimming at night. I suppose it was 10 or 11 p.m. I dove into the water, not having first checked to see how deep it was. It was perhaps half a meter deep. I damaged a vertebra in my neck, had an operation, nearly 6 months of rehab, and then returned home. I've been getting my strength back all these years. I work at a firm in Krosno that provides information to businesses about public tenders, various public orders, practically everything that has anything to do with the economy. I'm employed in a data entry position. I use a special program created for me. We all have to log in and use our own codes and usernames. I find information about tenders on various business-related sites on the internet. My job is to locate and determine if a tender is current. That is, one not announced more than 14 days ago and which has no more than 7 working days left. In other words, 9 days in all. Teleworking is a unique opportunity to hire disabled persons because it eliminates barriers of time and space. The work can be done everywhere and at any hour. It's a unique situation for disabled persons. The information society, based on knowledge, creates such an opportunity. Furthermore, it must also be said that we've already experienced uniformity, one solution for all, and we know that is bad. In this case, it's the same. Teleworking is the right form of work for some people, those who like working with information, and those who have the right preparation and predisposition for this type of work. The first essential advantage is that on the basis of my employment contract, I have to work 7 hours a day. But I can work during the day, 1 hour or 3 hours. The most important thing is that I must have worked 7 hours by the end of the day. Now that's the first advantage. I can take a break anytime I want, go get something to drink or eat lunch and return to work. That's the first thing. The second thing that is most important to me is that because of my severe disability, I indeed have problems getting around. This way, the problem of getting to work is eliminated. We know that work has more than simply an economic dimension. It also has a social and psychological aspect. Thanks to our work, we earn a living. We satisfy our needs, various needs, but work also has a psychological dimension, whereby we build up our sense of competency, thanks to which we are valued. Work also has a social aspect, a time filled with interpersonal relationships. We make contact and expand our circle of friends and acquaintances. Thanks to this, our lives are richer and fuller. Certainly, just having a job is positive. The downside is that you stay at home, within the same four walls, and you don't go out. You don't have contact with other people. At least conversations, to respond to someone. This way you just sit at home, alone with only your computer and your work. That's negative. On the other hand, let's look at the financial aspect. It would be possible to go to work and do the same thing I do at home. But unfortunately, the barrier is here, as I said earlier, with getting around. Employers don't always guarantee transportation. Lublin, capital of the province of the same name, lies in east-central Poland, near the Ukrainian border. Situated picturesquely in the Lublin highlands, it is the third largest region in Poland. The castle gives Lublin a historic atmosphere. Here, in 1560, an important political ceremony took place. The union between Poland and Lithuania was proclaimed, uniting both nations for several centuries to come. The old town is ringed with tenements associated with important historical figures, and two gates enclose the medieval city. Here we see the Krakow Gate, which for centuries has linked the ancient part of the city with the suburban road leading to Krakow. Of note also is one of the first Baroque churches in Poland, St. John the Baptist and St. John the Evangelist, which was named a cathedral in 1805. Somewhat later, the famous architect Antonio Carazzi added a classical portico and terrace. At present, Lublin has a population of around 350,000. The advantages of teleworking for the employer: increased worker productivity and effectiveness, optimization of workforce potential, reduction in sick leave, reduction in size of office area, limitation on work-related conflicts, pay for results, not time dedicated to task, savings in office materials, and the possibility of hiring highly qualified staff.
Nie jest to nowość faktycznie w Stanach Zjednoczonych, jest to bardzo popularne.
This is not a novelty in general in North America. In fact, in the United States, it is a very popular form of work. Neither is it a novelty in some countries of Western Europe, the old EU countries. However, it is still new in most of the so-called new member countries. For example, in Poland, flexible work, or perhaps even teleworking in a very broad sense of the word, represents merely a few percent of people working in Poland.
Kilka procent ogólnej liczby ludzi, którzy pracują w Polsce, stosujących tego typu techniki.
Urząd Miasta Lublin.
The City Council of Lublin is working to meet the expectations of our unemployed citizens. In addition to the Municipal Labor Office, there is also a City Information Center as part of the My First Job program. This is a result of the agreement reached between the Ministry of Labour and Social Policy and the city of Lublin. The main tasks of the Information Center include helping people without work to write letters of application, put together CVs, log on, that is, to maintain their own internet page. Every unemployed person can come to us and send their applications to potential employers. We assemble all the job applications and prepare them for the potential employees. We also conduct various types of training courses on topics such as how to present yourself at an interview and how to prepare for your new position. We provide counseling with psychologists and professional advisors. We loan out some equipment and machines, plus a few socio-technical instruments to improve the lives of the jobless, so that they can become better qualified or find new jobs. I received my degree in civil engineering from the Lublin Polytechnic, and I'm now looking for a job in construction. That has always been my dream. Construction is a rather specialized field. Therefore, you need qualifications to work in it. I need to acquire practical training here, and then later I can take the exam for the relevant license. I made up my mind not long ago. I have 2 children, so I decided to look all over Poland. At first, I'd limited myself to Lublin because I like the city and its specific character. I've traveled a bit, and I know there are more beautiful cities than Lublin, but Lublin is such a specific city, and I really like living here. I have lots of friends, and it's hard to give them up. But right now, I'm looking all over Poland. I once met this American who had an IT consulting firm. He did everything I associated with consulting in this field, including basic things like creating marketing strategies, developing websites. He employed 30 to 40 staff and did not spend his time alone in the States, but traveled all over the world to where he had larger projects in the works. He employed people from around the globe. He developed his own method for checking their qualifications and hiring them. He didn't want to reveal what it was, but said that it was no problem finding a good graphic artist, for example, living and working in Argentina, sending him equipment, a computer worth several $1,000s, and hiring him for a project that might last for 18 months. He said it was no problem. He'd been running this sort of company for several years, totally virtual, with no real office in the sense of the word. Advantages of teleworking for employees. No fixed hours of work. Childcare and domestic tasks are possible. No commuting costs. Effective use of commuting time. Work far from home is possible. Opportunities for unique professions. And working for more than one employer is possible. After analyzing our situation in Lublin, we concluded that there is a relatively large percentage of single parents. The e-job center, that's what we call it, will accept external commissions from employers. Single parents will be able to come here at the time of their own choosing and do the job commissioned or ordered by a given employer. An e-center will be opened as part of this project. It will promote work and include flexible forms of employment. During work, we will provide childcare services a floor below us in our mini nursery. I learned about the program from a friend who is in a very similar situation. A mother who's also raising her child alone. At the beginning, I had to fill out a form which included very detailed psychological tests. Then there were interviews with advisors and tests to see if we were the type of people who would make it through the training. ambitious, willing to learn, to broaden our horizons and fight for a better life.
Do poszerzania swoich horyzontów i w ogóle chyba walczenia też i o poprawę sytuacji życiowej. Cała inicjatywa
The Equal program, organized throughout Poland and comprised of 107 projects, aims to develop innovative systems by placing the unemployed in the job market. And so the effect of the entire project will not be the number of people employed, but of developing a system that may be applied at a higher level and implemented as part of the government's social policy.
Na szczeblu wyższym i wdrożone do polityki społecznej. Nie liczę na taką formę.
I'm not counting on this form of work. I'd like to work and have direct contact with people because I value myself highly and would like to go in that direction. I can manage the secretariat in a company, oversee the administration and even bookkeeping, but do it on site, at the employers. We wanted to help these people leave home because they are single parents and spend most of their time with their children and closest family. We didn't want to lock them up at home. Of course, teleworking is an option, but we wanted to give them the opportunity to meet new people and lead normal lives. In January of 2003, the European Commission announced the European Strategy for Full Employment and Better Jobs for All.
First of all, there was a handbook, quite a thick book on the all aspects of teleworking. Then we had blueprints, which I described a little bit more in a minute. Case studies, very important in presentation of every technological or non-technological issue to companies, which actually would see the real benefits. So case study is a very good way of showing what are the benefits of a given solution. Management and technology briefings, also very important, especially for those executives, I would say, so those who take decisions in companies, because they were short, strict, and, well, up to the point presentations of all topics which we wanted to present. Cost and benefit analysis tool, an online tool enabling a manager to assess the actual benefits of his own company from introducing a flexible working, any kind of flexible working. FlexWork implementation plan, it was a kind of a roadmap showing how to use different elements, mentioned before, different elements from this project and from outside initiatives to actually introduce teleworking in an organization. And the last one, but not least, FlexWork Technology Matrix. This is actually the very tool which focuses on the technological issues, because introduction of flexible working is not only about technology, it's about everything. It's about organization, soft issues, human resources, but technology, of course, is also important, and sometimes it's something which is the first thing which comes to a mind.
As a result of our discussions, we came to the conclusion that the award should go to FlexWork.